makers. Welcome to Always Yarn First, a podcast about knitting, crochet, spinning, and all the yarny goodness in between. I'm Lindsay, and I'm coming to you from Little Rock, Arkansas. And as always, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Always Yarn First. Before we get into it, a couple of housekeeping things. One, I need to mention my year-long make-along I'm currently hosting with my friend Lori for Arkansas Yarn Co. We are making blankets. You can knit or crochet. It is hashtag nothing but double. Or you can go to Arkansas Yarn Co. Ravelry group and post your finished objects there. You just have to hold yarn double and make any size blanket. Also, last podcast, I announced I was giving a giveaway for this beautiful skein of yarn that I picked up that Lori dyed for the yarn crawl. It is called Malibu Beach for Barbie inspired, one of her Barbie inspired colors. So I have drawn a winner from the comments, and the winner is Katie Bonnell. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Katie, congratulations. If you see this, please email me at AlwaysYarnFirst@gmail.com with your full name and mailing address, and I will get a package out to you. If I don't hear from Katie by the next podcast in 2 weeks, I will pull a different winner. So, all right, I think that's all of the things. So let's get into it. This is episode 43. Today is Friday, August 4th. If you are new here, welcome. Every podcast episode I do is named after a song title because before I loved yarn, my first love was music. So it's always something I love, and I have my own playlist on Spotify, which I do have linked below if you'd like to listen to all the songs I've used for all my episode titles. So this week is The Space Between. The song is by a Dave Matthews Band because I feel like this week I have lots of finished objects and like no whips to show you. I'm not saying I don't have any whips. I don't have any whips to show you. So I feel like I'm like riding in between here. But we'll get into that. So this episode, we will have finished objects. I'll have new cast-ons, a couple of whips I will talk about, and then acquisitions, and we'll talk goals because it is the beginning of a new month. So let's get into it. I am not wearing any knitting today. I'm just wearing a t-shirt and shorts around the house. It has been over 100, I think at least the last 5 days. And also, side note, hopefully nothing will go wrong with this podcast, but almost every electronic thing I have touched in the last 24 hours, something has gone wrong. So I'm hoping this will turn it all around. All right, so the first finished object is, let's see if I lift it up. It is this beauty. So you saw it last time. Actually, I did not knit most of this. This is the Secret Summer Crop by JessieMaed Designs. Jessa from Arkansas Yarn Co. actually knit 99.9 of this garment. She knit the whole garment for me. I gave her the skein of yarn because I had gifted her a skein of yarn that I was trying to make with the garment, and she knitted up quickly, so I just asked her if she would make me one. So I did have to finish binding off, and then I did the straps and then sewed them together. And that was it. I finished it and was able to wear it last weekend, the second weekend of the yarn crawl. So the yarn is Hue Loco Merino Sock in the Sassy Narwhal colorway, which is no longer available. I love Hue Loco, but she gets a lot of colors where you have to get them while they're available, otherwise they are gone. So love this. I think it really looks good on my mannequin there. Might stay on there. So ones I've actually made myself we have pretty much a sock show to go on here. So the first pair of socks finished are these ones. So just to show, I do have the second one completed right here. I'm just sharing the sock blockers. So this is vanilla socks. There's no pattern. I just did a 1x1 rib, and then I did a 3x1 rib for the whole sock because I knit these for my friend Scott. We play a Star Wars game online every week together. So he's a big Star Wars fan. And this yarn is from Mustache Yarns. And this is one of her Star Wars inspired colorways, which is inspired by Palpatine. So I've been calling these my Palpatine socks. And then I just needed to cut in and do afterthought heels. Which, if you've never done an afterthought heel and you're afraid to, it's essentially your toe. I mean, once you get the right stitches on your needles and you're ready to knit, I just knit a toe. So for my toes, my personal is I do like a 3-2-1 method. So when I'm ready to start my toes, I do the first row as my decrease row, which would be knit 1, slip, slip, knit, all the way till 3 left on that side, and then knit 2 together, knit 1, and then the same thing on the other side. And then I do 3 rows of knitting, and then I do a decrease. 2 rows of knitting, decrease, 1 row, decrease, and then decrease every row till I have 10 stitches left on each needle. And I Kitchener. So for the heel, I did try that at first, but I found it didn't give me enough room in my heel, so I do a 4-3-2-1. So I have a few more rows of knitting in there. So when I first get into the heel, I do the decrease row first, but then I do 4 rows of knitting, so on, so forth. So that's all it is. All afterthought heel is like doing a toe. You just have to, and you only cut 1 stitch. You basically collect your stitches on 2 needles, 1 row, leave a row in between, and then another row on your needles. You clip 1 stitch in the middle, and then with another needle, you just kind of slowly unwind that middle row until you have 2 stitches left on each side, because that'll give you enough tail and make sure it won't unravel as you're working on your heel. So yeah, these are done. These will be gifted now. So that's sock pair 1. The second pair of socks, I literally finished this morning. I was so close to finishing them that I'm like, I can't podcast till I'm done. So these are just my own shorty socks. Again, no pattern. These are true ankle socks. So all I did with this is I did 5 rows of 2x2 ribbing with a contrast. And then I went immediately into my heel, knit the foot, toe, so on. So again, just to show I have the second one done right here. And this is Desert Vista Dyeworks in the colorway Bamboozled. I think it's her Viso base. It's her sparkle base. I think it's Viso, but I'm not positive. All right, I have another finished object. And this is one was literally a new cast on. You guys haven't even seen it. It's so fresh. So, I had talked about the last podcast how lately I've been buying a lot of yarn, which has been fun and awesome, no regrets, but I wanted to start really pulling then from my stash. And I think I even talked about how I had gone through my cupboard. I showed a picture on Instagram how I pair up yarn with patterns and I put them in bags. Because that way, if I want to cast on something, I'm like, all right, I have stuff already picked out. And I go through that cupboard every few months to make sure I still like the yarn, I still want to make the pattern, so on. So I had just gone through my cupboard and kind of seen every single thing. And I was itching to cast something on, but I wanted it to be a smaller item because I have some sweaters, some garments on the needles that I feel like I really need to give some love to before I start another garment. So I'm like, what do I have in here? And again, talking about sweaters, lots of blue coming up, which I love blue, but I needed something different in my color palette to be working on. So I made the Minimalist. Doesn't look like a lot right now, but this I have had quite a while. It is a cowl. So it's held with a mohair. Let's see. Now I'm going to have mohair on my lips the whole time. But it's just cozy. Now, it is very slack, but with the mohair and the way it sits, it's actually like really warm on my neck right now. So this is interesting too, because you start here at the bottom and knit flat to get to a certain point. Then you pick up and go in the round. But this obviously flew off my needles. And then you decrease a bit toward the end so that it's a little bit more fitted around your neck. So this was something I'd had for a long time. The yarn is, the main color is Junkyarn Boss Sock, and it is in the colorway Astronaut Barbie. I love it. You know I love pink speckles. And then the mohair I held with it is Cake Wool Cream in the colorway Smooch. So this is glorious. I was knitting on it Tuesday. I went to Rich Mountain Fiber Co., which we'll get into a little bit later, with Lori and Jessa. And I was knitting on this, and Lori's like, I want that. I'm like, yeah, I figured you would. But it's not happening. This is mine. So this is so wonderful. Just to tell you how fast it was, I started on, let's see, July 28th. What day was that? July 28th was Friday. And I finished it on August 1st. I could have finished it on Sunday, and my goal was planning to Sunday, but Sunday kind of fell apart. It was so hot that I ended up getting really sick. So yeah, it did not work out well. So actually I was knitting on this last Saturday when Lori saw it, because Tuesday I was already done with it. In fact, I brought it with to show her how it looked. So the reason too, another reason that I picked this up and knit this, I wasn't expecting to finish it, is that Lori has some yarn. She asked if I would sample knit for the shop, if I would sample knit this pattern. And I'm like, why does that pattern sound so familiar? Oh, because I had just looked through my cupboard and seen I had this set aside for this pattern. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna, so you're gonna see another one soon on the needles, and that will not be mine. That will be a sample for the store. But I started thinking, oh, I must see how this pattern is, and I finished it. Yeah, I finished it on August 1st. So that was a joy to knit. And I think as long as it's not blazing hot all winter long here, I will get use out of that. Definitely will be awesome when I go up north to visit family. I will get a lot of use out of it. So that is my finished objects, 4 of them. Pretty excited about that. Now, I didn't think about this when I put all my works in progress way down at the bottom of my cart. Because again, I'm in my dining room and I have a tall table. And my cat might shortly make an appearance. So I have 1 cast on. 2 if you would have counted the Minimalist, but since it's already done. This is in my brand new String Crazy bag that I got from the Yarn Crawl. And I started, and I don't even have a picture. I will insert a picture of the Rising Star Baby Blanket by Shannon Holding. This is a present. Oh, wait. I'm going to do a picture. Let's see. This is a gift for Mike Cairo and his wife are having a second baby. And so I wanted to make something for them. So I started one blanket that kind of had the same motif, like a star, like inside out crochet. But I was having a hard time reading that one. I don't know if it was just me, because I've seen it on a few different podcasts that people love that pattern. And I don't know. So I looked for a different one, and this is where I am. So, love it so far. The crochet goes really fast. I am using, let's see, I don't think that there's a ball band in here. Let me go to my project page here. It is a Lion brand mandala. I have a second skein of this, so we'll see how much I need, how far this gets me. But this one is just, will change colors. This pattern technically calls for you to change colors during it. It has changed colors once. It's kind of subtle here, but you can see the middle is lighter than the outside of it. So this is going really good, but when I was working on it, I didn't have problems with my hands. I know a lot of people, when they're working with acrylic, they say that their hands hurt and so on. I wasn't having an issue. In fact, I actually crocheted a bunch this day. I think this was all from one day that I touched it. And I didn't have a problem, but was it the next day or the day after? All of a sudden, I was getting pain. Now, I have gotten pain before, like right here on the inside of this finger, on my ring finger, and it will go up my arm. I don't know if that's like early onset arthritis or what that is, and so when I first got it, I was like rubbing my finger, and I'm like, okay, my finger's kind of hurting. I have like this little finger brace kind of, so like it keeps it still essentially, which helps with the pain. So I took a little break from it, and then literally one night, the pain was so bad I couldn't sleep. The pain was going all the way up my arm into my shoulder. Now, I'm not saying that it is this, but I haven't touched it since because I kind of like wanted to give myself a full break and then pick it up again because I'm curious if it is. Like I said, I've had weird pain before when I wasn't crocheting and I wasn't using acrylic, so I don't know. But I'm thinking at the very least I may need to do like small bits of this and maybe not work on it for hours at a time. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated, but I am planning on finishing that. All right, the next work in progress. I've made, I don't even know if it's worth showing, but this is the one I'm hoping to pick up and make some real progress on. This is in one of my Fringe Supply Co bags. And this is my Give Me the Tea. It's a t-shirt pattern originally from 52 Weeks of Easy Knits, but you can get it as a single pattern now. And I'm still at a point where it doesn't look like a whole bunch of anything. I have all my Studio Ghibli stitch markers from the Sexy Knitter on there, along with my stitch marker where I was last time. So I've made a little bit of progress, but I'm hoping to make some more because there's actually a couple more garments I really want to cast on, but I'm not saying I'm going to make myself finish a garment before then, but I feel like I need to put in some real work. I still have a fingering weight sweater I started last year at some point. I don't even know. And that just got pushed aside. So yeah. So I need to get on some of my garment making because I want to make other garments with some yarn that I want to use. So yeah, not much to show here. The yarn I am using is Plymouth Reserve Sport Solid in the colorway Navy. And that's it. There's not really much to say about it. So far so good, but I'm just increasing to that magic number. All right, I only have one more whip to show that I have been actively working on. And again, I'm hoping to catch up with this one. This is in my Paradise Island bag. And this is my Tunisian crochet along, the Tunisian basics crochet along, where I'm making Tunisian crochet squares. I'm not sure if no, I didn't show this one because this pattern just came out last week. So just a reminder, I've done 2 full ones. The first square in this crazy pink is the Tunisian simple stitch. That one's done. This is the Tunisian knit stitch. I guess I can take my marker off there. That must have been where I was the last time I showed it. So I finished that one. And now I'm on the third one. And this is the Tunisian half double stitch. So I have some thoughts about the stitch. One great thing about this stitch, if you notice when I'm holding these things up, these like to curl. I'm not worried about it in the long run, but look at this. This is not doing that. This is great. So far, I hate this stitch. I can't even really tell you why I hate this stitch, but I hate it. I need to finish this one so I can move on to the next one. I'm on number 3. So each square pattern comes out on Wednesdays, I'm pretty sure. So I have another one I haven't even started yet. I am using various scraps. So this one is HauteKnit, and this is 1 Tequila. This was in a fade set that I had gotten with this one. This is 3 Tequila. So I think I had 1, 2, 3, 4 drop or something like that I made a shawl out of. So this is in DK weight that I'm using, and I am using the hook size J, which is a 6mm hook. I'm using my hooks from my interchangeable set from Knit Picks. So still working on these. Just a fun learning project. It is fun to learn them, but I really hate the stitch. I don't know why. All right, so that is all the whips that I'm going to show today because I really didn't. I did do a little bit on my Lamana cardigan, but I'm hoping to make some good progress. And I think I measured it, and I'm about 4 inches from splitting for sleeves, which is exciting. There's just so many things I want to work on at the same time, and there's not enough time for everything. So, all right. Another section I forgot that we were doing. I had a couple of questions. Last time on the comments, I said if you had questions for me to leave them. So I had 2 people that gave questions, so I wanted to touch on those really briefly. So the first one was, how do I feel about bamboo or linen yarn? So I have tried to knit with linen, like pure linen yarn, like Shabui linen yarn. And I had heard before I even tried it that it was a pain to knit with, but after you washed a garment, it was wonderful. Obviously breathable, which really drew me in because I'm so hot-blooded, and I thought, oh, I need a linen garment. Because I live in my linen shorts and my pants around here. I could not knit with it. It hurt my hands so bad that even if I would have, tried to get through it for the garment, it wasn't even about the garment. Like, I was willing to get through the pain essentially to get the garment out of it. Totally not worth it. I could not do it. I give props to those who can knit those garments because I cannot. I know that a lot of people say that about cotton, so, to each their own. However, I have worked with a few linen blends, and those have always been lovely. Lori has a linen blend that I made my staple linen top from Hohi Locatelli in, and it was wonderful to work with. Like, I wouldn't have known that there was linen in it, as much problems as I had touching it before. I wouldn't have known. And I can't remember the exact composition of that yarn, but you could look it up on her website. Also, bamboo. I don't think I've ever knit with pure bamboo, but if you've been around here for a while, you know I've made a couple of streamlined tank tops, and both of them were in bamboo pop, and I love bamboo pop. It is so nice on my fingers. It's a dream to knit up, and I love the garments made from it. So for me, my answer would be kind of the same. Like, both of them as a blend, I'm all about it. All right, and then one other person had given me a question that they're enjoying my spinning content. Thank you. That they were just trying to learn spinning, and they asked for some spinning podcasts that I watch. So I've mentioned these podcasts before. There is 4 that are my go-to, and if you know more, please put it down below. So the first one is Rachel Smith, and I'm going to have links to all these in the notes below. So Rachel Smith is woolen spinning. She actually has a Patreon. She does a lot of classes on Sweet Georgia, and the one that I watch regularly is she has like a live woolen spinning. So instead of a podcast, it comes up as a live, but it's so knowledgeable. And it not only just spinning, but the goal of that particular, the woolen spinning podcast or shows or episodes, is not only just spinning, but then how do we use our spinning into our knitting, which I thought was super important, because a lot of times, if you're like me, I got into spinning and then I'm like, well, now what do I do with it? I mean, the obvious answer is knit, but it feels like such different material that you're like, but what do I knit? It doesn't feel like my regular yarn. So hers is a really good one. Jillian Eve is another really good one. She is extremely knowledgeable. She even goes back to like historical spinning. She does wheels and spindles and a lot of knowledge there. She is fantastic. And then there's the Tangles and Starlight podcast. She hasn't been super active lately, but Tazi, she did, I would suggest if you've never watched her, start with her Vlogmas from last year. She got a fiber vlog. She did a fiber vlog where she got a fiber advent and was spinning every day. And each day she would talk about different topics regarding to spinning or fiber, which was, I thought was super great. And because of her, I was convinced to buy a fiber advent this year. But I can't forget about my girl, Lisa, who is Stop, Drop, and Knit. Now, Lisa is a knitting podcast, but she also spins on a spindle. That girl just spins on a spindle. And so much props to her. I started on a spindle. I need to get it out and practice again, but she gets a lot of spinning on that spindle. She is the one who, by watching her podcast, I took the spinning jump. I bought a spindle and some fiber because of Lisa. So I definitely encourage you to watch her. She also does a lot of natural dyeing, so much so she loves foraging and natural dyeing, and she will be having a shop up to sell her natural dyed yarns. So she's like a master of a lot of trades, and she is wonderful. So again, I have links to all those podcasts down below. All right, so let's get into acquisitions / future makes. All right. The last time I was here, I had just gone to the first weekend of the Arkansas Yarn Crawl. And I went back to Arkansas Yarn Co. I was there Saturday, which was the last day of the crawl. My friend Christy came down from Illinois, so I had to visit with her. And so I got some things. First of all, Christy, who is super generous, always brings gifts. And this time I know, because I always bring a gift for her. So this time it was a bunch of bags. So here is the first one. And isn't this my colors, y'all? Blue and hot pink. Love this. Let's see. Who is this by? This is by Puff Stitch. And she said it was a kit. It came with a little sticker and some stitch stoppers. Aren't them guys cute? And I love the inside of this bag is definitely giving me some Lisa Frank vibes. Yeah. All right. She got me 2 other little bags. This one, my girl Christy loves Erin Lane bags. So here's an Erin Lane bag. And not only is it, you might wonder, well, why does it say Dallas? I just said Christy lives in Illinois. So Erin Lane had, I think she usually has a booth at DFW Fiber Festival. And Christy knew I was there last year. And evidently this was the last year bag for the festival. And so she specifically got me the Dallas DFW bag, which I thought was so sweet. And then there's a little Notions bag that's vinyl. I mean, seriously. And this is from Neon Soul. So yes, that is my little bag haul from Christy. All right. I didn't buy anything Saturday, but after the first weekend, Diane of Suburban Stitcher came to the shop Sunday on the first weekend. I had already gone home. And Lori carries Diane's yarn, but Diane had kind of restocked her. And so I saw these go up online, and I'm like, yes, please. So these are 2 of her sock base in light neon pink. And there is more available online. Also, Diane's color for SSK, Sparkle for the People, was also brought to Lori's shop. All right, that was all I got, Arkansas Yarn Co. But then I mentioned that I went with Lori and Jessa to Rich Mountain Fiber Co. It is in Mena, Arkansas. And it's just far enough away and kind of like, you know, back windy roads to get there that Missy has been open, I think, just at a year now. And I've been wanting to go over there. And so the girls had taken off Monday and Tuesday to kind of recuperate from how busy the yarn crawl was. So we all rode over together and spent the day. So Missy, let me tell you, Rich Mountain Fiber Co. is a small but mighty shop. It's not super huge, but there was so much yarn I wanted to buy in there. It was hard choosing what I wanted. So she does have a website. I do have it linked below. You can go online and shop. But what I ended up with is 3 skeins of this. I've never gotten Moondrake before. And again, speaking of linen, this is the Merino Linen Twist base. It is 86% superwash merino and 14% linen. 410 yards to 100 grams. So I was just so intrigued by this base, how it looked, how it felt, and I wanted to try it so bad. There was a hot pink, like electric pink, that first caught my eye. But then when I was thinking of a garment, I held up the electric pink to me and I'm like, I feel like it's not good for me. A lot of the other ones in this base are toned down colors. So this was the one I decided on. And this is in the electric berry. So yeah, I did good. I just got these. I don't know what. Oh yes, I do know what I'm going to make. That's right. So what I'm going to make with these, I was looking as I was sitting there deciding what I wanted to buy. And I've decided to make the Salty Air Tea by Samantha Guerin. I'll put a picture in. I just think this would be great for a linen like t-shirt top. So this is one of those I said I really want to cast on like right now. But I need to work on one of my other ones for a little bit. until I can do a little catch-up work on some of my current whips. Y'all know I love having lots of whips. That's not a problem, but I don't really want 5 sweaters or garments on the needles because that's a lot. So there's one other thing. That is all my acquisitions. But to continue on with the future makes, I want to talk about something I'm going to be casting on, which it is a purchase I have made. So you've heard me talk about gritty knits before. Now, usually when I talk about gritty knits, it's during the spinning, which I had none to show this time. But gritty knits, I am a subscriber, which she has a subscriber feature on her Instagram account. It's only $5 a month. And every single month, you get a $10 off coupon. So if you buy anything from her, you're literally paying for your subscription and then some. She lets you use the code as many times as you want. I mean, I don't usually order 4 different times from the same maker in a month, but you know, sometimes if something goes on sale or something exclusive comes up, it happens. But you always have a $10 off coupon all the time. And she is starting a new club. Now, subscribers, we have a special secret access to a part of her store where it's subscribers only. She does things like has exclusive live videos for subscribers, and then like if she made a bat of fiber or a special yarn, she only sells it to subscribers who got to watch the live video while she was making it, which is cool. But she is starting a new yarn club, and I just loved the idea of this. So this club is called the All Year Advent Club. Now, as of right now, today when I looked it up, it's not online yet. But she started it a month earlier for her subscribers. So I am signed up. I will get the first club package this month in August. And the whole thing is it's $18. It's no extras or goodies. All of our other clubs comes with an extra every month. This one is no extras. It is 2 mini skeins per month, 2 different colors. But the idea of it is if you keep on it to eternity, but as long as you want to, it is going to be a fade constantly. So this August is going to fade into September's and October's and so on and so forth. So you'll get 2 mini skeins and they will be 2 different colors, so they will fade together. And she is numbering. I talked to Natasha today because I wanted to make sure I had the most accurate information. She will be numbering them. So in case you put them with your regular minis and you're like, oh, now I have a project and now I can't remember which one goes first. She got you covered. So I love this idea for a few things. I have talked about advents in the past. Advents are worth the price because of the amount of work, the dyeing, the getting the goodies, all that stuff that makers put into it, totally worth it. However, a lot of us can't afford to drop $300 on an advent or don't want to drop $300 at one time when you don't know your color palette. Like, I'd rather spend that money and drop on a sweater quantity of yarn I have handpicked, you know. But it's fun getting mystery skeins at the same time. So I think this is a great idea where if you don't want to drop a big amount of money, then you can get this $18 a month and start building. And what that does too, unless you're one of those people that doesn't like extra whips on your needles or hooks, you can not be pressured to make something with 24 minis in 25 days. So I have picked out a pattern of what I'm going to use. I am making this. I know you guys have seen this one online. And Anazadora shawl. I hope that's right. By Larkspur Knits. I love this. And even when you buy this pattern, she gives you a few different ways you can make it. But one of the ways is using 24 20-gram minis. And I thought, how perfect is this? So I can get my 2 colors and have a full month to get those 2 colors in this shawl. And the next month, it'll all work together in a lovely, lovely fade. So I love Natasha's colors. I highly praise Gritty Knits. I was telling her too that I just realized that I had never heard of Gritty Knits until last year at DFW Fiber Festival, because I had just gotten my e-spinner. And so I went into the festival looking for fiber, not yarn. And I was asking around, where can I get fiber? And they're like, Gritty Knits. I'm like, okay. So I bought a couple things since then, and I have been addicted to her ever since. She is bright, bold colors like I love. So I am super stoked about this. But if this interests you, keep an eye out on Gritty Knits Instagram, her website. This month, it will go up for you to get September. So she won't charge you even if you go on when it's available. She won't charge you until the first of the month. You'll get charged for your club. And I'm not sure if she sends out all clubs at the same time. I know my fiber club gets sent out the 13th of the month, middle of the month. So yeah, highly, highly, highly praise Natasha. Love her. All right, one more thing. Because I was talking about that I have cast on itis and I wanted to cast on another garment so bad, but didn't feel like I should, and so I'm trying to be responsible. I went through my cupboard today, and I even have it in sections where it's like shawls, small projects like hat, scarf, cowl, whatever. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick a small project to cast something on. And so I have these already wound that I never started. And they want to grow up to be Selena socks from my friend Nicole. I got to test knit this sock and it was lovely. I had never put mohair in a sock until I did these. And then I had gone to La Mouton Rouge Knittery in Illinois, which used to be Nicole's local yarn shop when she lived in Illinois. And I found these yarns, which Kelly said she specifically dyed for, thinking of Nicole because of the pink. And so I'm like, oh, it's meant to be. These need to be her socks. So I had caked them up and there they sat. So these should be on my needles by the next time you see me, hopefully. Especially since I figured socks is a good choice because I just finished 2 pairs. So I might as well get another one on my needles. All right. That is all of my future makes talk. Whew, that was a lot. All right, the last thing I have to talk about is my goals section. So this one's going to be a doozy, y'all, because all the yarn has come in. All right, so July. In July, I had 25 skeins come in the house and only 10 leave. So year to date, by the end of July, I had 129 skeins in and 104 skeins out. If you're new to the channel, by skeins in, pretty self-explanatory. For me, it has to be a 50 gram or above skein of yarn. I don't count 25 gram skeins. I don't count mini skeins. For a skein to be qualified as going out, either I finished my project and I was in the middle of a yarn, that skein is out along with all the skeins I finished beforehand. Or if I've gifted, giveaway, anything like that, for other reasons, skeins have gone out. Yeah, but I don't count them as out until I have knit the skein up. So yeah. So right now I have had more in than out, but I'm really planning on the rest of the year to focus on my cabinet of goodies that I want to make. The only goal I really had is to finish my tank, which I did finish my streamlined tank last month. So August goals. Again, I'm kind of going pretty generic on my goals. I want to work on my lamana. I would love to at least get to the sleeve separation to feel like I'm making some progress here. You know, August, yes, it's still very much summer. And honestly, September will still be hot here. But like by November, I'd like to have this cardigan done to be able to use throughout the winter. I want to finish the baby blanket. Generally, I want to work on stash projects. That's just going to be there the rest of the year. And I need to catch up on my Nothing But Double blanket, which is the make-along I'm doing with Lori. I have now 3 months worth that I have not done. So it's totally doable. Usually I can do the crochet part in a setting. It's just winding up all the yarn and sitting down and making myself do it. So yeah. So that's it. We have the August is busy too because we are working on the Weekend with Friends retreat for Arkansas Yarn Co. I'm part of the team helping with that, so we've been busy trying to make sure all the last minute details are going on. I'm really, really excited about that. I have a very fun make-along coming in September, so that I'm co-hosting, and so I'm excited about that. And that's about it. So hopefully now, I mean, don't hold it to me, guys, you know, but hopefully the yarn purchasing train slows down. It's got to slow down now. But I have lots of fun things I want to make. I want to get on my needles. I want to knit all of them at the same time. So we'll see how that goes. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching, commenting, liking, subscribing, telling your friends. And I will see you again in 2 weeks.